Welcome to Unpacked Radio. I'm your host, Norris Pope Johnson, and tonight we'll be talking about domestic violence. Before we get into this issue, I believe in the good old saying, live your truth so nobody can use it against you later. So I'm going to get a little personal about my own little background with domestic violence and build up from there. We got a good panel coming up, and we're going to really get into more details. But I used to be an F-boy myself in the past, so I'm not going to pretend to be nobody angel. And I done made a lot of horrifying mistakes that could have landed me in jail using my anger instead of love or using my ego instead of love. So I remember one time I was about 20, and me and one of my young ladies I was dating at the time had a serious argument, and I hit her right in the face. And I realized right then and there that I never wanted to be that type of person. But I also, at one point in my life, chased her with a car and almost killed her. That could have been manslaughter. That could have been mandatory minimum sentences and a bunch of other stuff. So I have used my ego in the past, and I have serious regrets about those things. And now it's just time to talk about it and live in an honest place and be honest and upfront about our issues and whether or not we should use our ego or whether or not we should use love. We'll be right back with Loctite DC Baddest, a.k.a. DJ Foxy, a.k.a. a bunch of other stuff. She got a lot of stuff going on in the community. We're going to talk about domestic violence. We're going to get into some stories. We're going to try to find a solution. We'll be back in 1 minute. Welcome back to Unpacked Radio. I am your host, Norris Pope Johnson. I have my two good compadres with me. I got my man Loctite, been knowing him for a good little minute. I have DC Finest, okay, DC Baddest. I got DJ Foxy, who used to do her thing at Applebee's in Forestville, jamming on the ones and twos. And used to be having it crank it up in that little piece. And we are here to talk about domestic violence.
Serious topics.
Very, very serious issues. So I'm gonna throw it to ladies first. How long were you? Because I didn't know. So I know you for about a good 4 or 5 years. I did not know that you were a survivor of domestic violence. So how were you in that situation? How did you meet your abuser? How long were you in the situation with your abuser? And how did you escape? Because I didn't even know. So
Okay,
this is going to be very interesting.
it is. Well, I will first start out by saying that I will answer your questions, but before I was introduced on my own domestic violence hit me at an early age as a child. My mom was abused by my dad and other men.
Mm.
And eventually that led to her death. She was killed by her boyfriend.
Wait a minute, time out. So you're telling us that your mother,
My mother.
your mother who
My
raised
baby,
you,
who raised me.
she had a history, long-term history
Yes.
of abuse.
Yes.
And eventually that abuse led to her death.
Led to her death.
How did that make you feel?
Oh, devastated. Words, I don't even think it's a word in the dictionary that actually it can express the devastation. You don't have a word, a feeling. It's just unexplainable. That's the only thing I can really say. I'm 42 now, and I've been going through this since I was 19. She was killed at 19, so she was at the precious age of 38. And he stabbed her 22 times.
Now, did anybody in the family witness this? Or
No, we didn't witness anything.
did he serve consequences for his actions?
He did, and to believe it or not, he's out.
He's out.
Free, walking around.
So you can murder someone, take them from their family, serve a little bit of time, and be just walking around here freely.
Right. So two things have to happen. We definitely have to vote to change the legislation and the laws. And we definitely have to be spiritually grounded. Because you can look at it either way. God is going to eventually get the ultimate say-so. And we still can do our part by making sure that murderers are not still walking the streets to do this again to someone else. Just because you get locked up doesn't mean that you learned your lesson.
Hopefully he did. Hopefully. Now, how did you end up in that situation after watching your mother go through it?
I know, and I thought that was the ultimate.
That should have been the ultimate life lesson.
You would think. And then I thought at some point in time it was the way love was supposed to go. Because that's all I saw. So if he hit you, he loved you. If he making a big squawk about you, he loved you. Oh my gosh, he loved me, y'all. He mad. It was cute at first. But I got married young. My husband wasn't an abuser as far as just punching on me. But we had our bouts, and relationships after, I definitely had some issues. But the last one that I said, I'm just not dealing with this anymore, I just had to absolutely, completely walk away. I didn't change my number. I did not change my location. I just cut off all communication. And was serious with the law. If this dude come anywhere near me, my children, my house, my car, my job, if I see him, I'm calling the police. It's no, can we talk about it? Because you're giving him a chance.
To do it again?
To do it again.
Now, my other concern is, let's get into details. What type of abuse did you suffer so we can help someone avoid it down the road?
So there are many type of domestic abuses. You have verbal. You have physical, and then you have mental. The mental is, I think, I'm not going to say all of them are bad, but the mental is so sustaining because it taints everything even after you're out of your situation. Because your mental goes with you further than the actual physical abuse. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So my mindset is that of, okay, I went through this, I had to endure this, and now what do? You don't trust anybody. Somebody can be walking up close to you, and you notice your own self-defense. You already, do you understand what I'm saying?
You already on guard. Yeah.
You're putting yourself up. You're putting yourself in a stance. And the mental abuse can, which I definitely was basically somebody telling you that nobody's going to want you. I was a large size at one time. I had 5 children, so, weight comes with that, up and down. But, yeah, nobody going to want you with all these kids, and, you can't do X, Y, and Z, and you don't have an education. No, I did not complete college. I did complete high school. So that's why I have all these jobs, because I can do everything with my hands. I was always taught that. So, the physical, the mental, and the emotional. The emotional part comes with the mental because you go into a depression. And then it's so bad that you don't want people to see that because you are not supposed to be going through that. Because you should know better because your mom died from that. You should know better. You should be the first one to say, I don't stand for this. I'm not going to stand with this man. I'm not going to stay with him. And I did totally the opposite because I thought that's what love was at one point in time. Now I do know.
That's not love.
That is not love.
All right, hold that thought. We're going to get to the man side of things. Mr. Locke.
Yes.
Now, were you an abuser or have you been abused?
Both.
Both. So,
Let's just push rewind from growing up in a black family, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I had it both sides. Living in a single family home with my mom, going to be with my father during the summer. So my father, he was a drug addict, beating on myself and my stepmother. My mother, she was a little different. She had a couple of clowns come through, but I always saw her fight back.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, mom's not taking it, then I got my father dishing it out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only boy, I'm the baby boy. So I'm defending mom, I gotta be the man in the house, getting beat up by her boyfriends and stuff like that. Then on my father's side, I'm fighting my father, trying to protect my stepmother, and both of them just drug addicts together, being wild and crazy. So it was really rough having to transition back and forth each year. Fall with my mom, summer with my father, just seeing it and just cycling a circle back and forth. It got tiresome where I ended up with my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it began right then and there. But growing forward, getting older, being the abuser, a lot of it came from my ego.
So you telling me you was using your male ego?
Yeah. It was my way or no way. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt as though that my upbringing and how I was raised as a man to take care of home, if I'm doing that, if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do and I'm leading you down that right path, it should be no squabble, no nothing where you shouldn't just follow along.
So you pretty much saying you had control issues, like you wanted to be in control of a woman.
I had to control everything, not just a woman.
Just everything around
just
you.
Anything around me had to be controlled by me.
Now, do you think that came from your upbringing and your emotional psyche at that time?
Yeah. It was, it came from being around a lot of women. And just, you know what I'm saying? I had my two sisters and my mother. And the bulk of my time was with them. So seeing, then I saw my aunts and them get abused and stuff like that. So it did kind of set on me where as if I was supposed to be doing this. Was it the wrong thing? Is it is it me just being a macho man because I'm the runt of the family, I'm the only boy? It was very confusing where I did go and get therapy at a very young age. I probably was about 15. I went and got therapy, tried to seek out some answers on, why was I being torn apart with not approving of it with my father doing it, but then seeing my mother whoop ass. So it was like, if they swung a lick, they could take a lick. And I just went with that. When a female told me that if she's big enough to swing a lick, she could take a lick. So if you swung on me, just believe I was going to swing back.
Yeah, that's the sticky issue because some men do suffer from domestic violence because we don't believe in hitting back. So we were always told you never put your hands on a woman. So at what point do you just like, hey, I'm not going to take this ass whooping you want to dish out? You know what I mean? And if you're trying to walk out the house and she grabbing on your shirt, rip your shirt off, rip your pants off, she kicking your car, throw a bunch of bleach on it, at what point do you just say, hey, I can't take enough, or should we just allow the police to handle that issue? That's a toss-up question, by the way.
Allow the police to handle the situation because you don't want to be locked up. I mean, it's not a good feeling being around a whole lot of niggas. When out on the street, you love the females that you beat on. It's a tricky situation. You know what I'm saying? You never know that inside personal situation that caused a person to actually have that physical fist fight. Words may hurt me. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. That's a lie.
That's true.
That's bullshit. That's a straight up lie. Words hurt more than a person taking their hand and smacking you upside your head.
You ain't gonna say that.
And if you're not mentally strong enough to deal with, you know what I'm saying, verbal abuse, as a man, your rage just blacks you out, and it's like Shawty, shut up. I ain't trying to hear none of that. And in order to make her shut up because she was going to keep talking, I mean, you lay hands on her. There's it's never no excuse to why you, a male or a female, is to fight at all. You know, period. But it
Can I
happens.
ask him a question?
Sure, this is an open panel.
So
That's what we're here for.
when you would get to the point, because I want to understand your rage and your abuse. Was your abuse that a continuous beating to where I'm swollen and my family members can't recognize me when they see me, or I just have a black eye or a broken pinky finger? You know, you pop me once or twice and you walk out the door. Is this a constant beating? Like you beat somebody viciously down to the ground?
That's a good question.
Because it's different abuse. I was punched a lot because I got mouth. I'm going to talk. I'm going to say what I got to say. But I've never been, like, beat to a pulp. Like, my mom had literally, we could not recognize her multiple times. So that's why I'm asking, is it that bad? Was it that bad?
It was that bad.
Oh, wow.
It had
Okay.
it never gotten to the point where I put him in the hospital, but it was to the point where you should stay in the house for a couple of days.
Jesus. Now, me personally, I want to know psychologically, how does that make you feel now that you're a changed person? That's my main question.
Like the biggest idiot in the world, because I see how my influence can be pushed towards so much positiveness. And to know in my background, in my closet, that I have all these skeletons, that I could be called a hypocrite. But everybody do change. And when you accept that change and you accept in yourself that you have an issue, you have a problem, because like she said, it is different levels and it's a mental thing. If you're a person that has been beat or beat on someone, get your mental under control. Seek that help to find out how to stop the barrier and stop the cycle of, you know what I'm saying, abuse on any race, anybody, man, woman, or child. You know what I'm saying? Put it plain and simple as that.
My next toss-up question, I'm going to start with ladies first. If you could say something to your abuser, what would you say to them? And then if you could say something to the person you abuse, what would you say to them? So I'm going to start with you, and we're going to work our way over. So you can talk to your abuser right now, look him right in the face, and tell your truth. What would you tell your abuser?
Honestly, the place that I'm in right now in my life, gone through what I've gone through, I forgive you. I forgive you, and I pray that you forgive yourself, and I pray that you have learned from your mistakes. And because I have forgiven you, doesn't mean that I have to forget. It doesn't mean that when I see you, we are cordial. It doesn't mean that when I see you, we're going to hug. That's not going to happen. I'm still keeping my ties apart. But if you did not get help, I pray that you are led in that direction. I pray that it does not trickle down into your family ties where your children become the devastating part of you because they either saw you, either heard it, or they learned it from you. Because sometimes our behaviors are learned. Our children learned them from us, the good and the bad. So I'll tell them, I forgive them. It was more than one. I forgive you.
That's luck. If you can say anything to the people you hurt, what would you have to say? Because this is interesting.
I thank your mama for raising such a beautiful, perfect woman, for allowing yourself to find in your heart to forgive me and see the potential that a man can change and do better in a 360 to start promoting nonviolence against all women.
Now, my next question, we'll start with ladies first. What are some solutions or actionable steps we can take that we will, stop abusing each other in our own communities and have civilized conversations? What do you think are some actionable steps we can take?
Well, for starters, the abused has to speak up. We have to stop being scared. We have to stop being silent. However, That is a process in itself that is so hard to do, especially when you're in the environment every day. You have to live with this person every day. It's hard to get away. It's hard to talk to somebody. It's always because it's a secret, and it's embarrassing. Nobody wants to know that. I know I don't want nobody to know I was getting beat on. I mean, come on. Really. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to learn how to just get that boldness. And then as us as friends who may know or have an inkling, go to that person. We got to start speaking up. We have to do something because my mother's life is gone because nothing was done. Did I know that she was having issues with her friend? Yes. Did we say something else? Of course we said something. Of course we did what we had to do. We family. But he still had the last say in so many ways. But had she not gone back? So we have to learn how to be strong. We have to teach women confidence. We have to teach, because it starts with the woman. If I allow you to do this, because the first time it happened, you should leave off the break. That way it don't happen again. Leave. Don't stay in the mess. A man can't make you, a man can't break you. I don't know why we feel like if we're not in this relationship, if we're not with this man, I can't do this. I need the money. It's programs out here that will help you. You can get on your feet. You could do it by yourself. I personally didn't want to be dependent on a man, but because I was not stable at the time, I had no choice. So that is a lot. The solution right now is to speak out on it. Start making people accountable. I'm going to hold you accountable because if you know something that I don't know, we should be going to authorities because everything can be done anonymously. The police can anonymously knock on the door from a tip from somebody. Hey, I might think that my friend is in trouble.
But do
Sometimes
you hold
people
yourself
have
accountable
to do some
too,
things. I'm sorry?
But do you hold yourself accountable as well, though?
As the abused or
yes.
as the friend?
Yes, as the abused.
I
I think we skipped over that portion of a question I would have wanted to ask.
Meaning me being the abused person, have to be held accountable as far as what?
As far as what actions you played into you saying the walk away and to making known of the situation being happening. So had the solution been what it wasn't then, that the solution is there now? Like there was nobody for you to reach out to and talk to say that you needed help.
No,
so
I
you wouldn't
definitely
have to
had
be
the help.
dependent.
It was just me having the boldness to expose myself and expose my situation, expose everything, and put it out there on the line. Because you face a chance of losing everything too at the same time. Your life definitely will change once you open up your mouth and speak on it. Because if somebody knows you're going through something that detrimental, they're not going to let you sit in. I know family will sit right on my floor. They'll sit right at my door, had you said anything. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the part that we as women, we have to come out of that being afraid. But like you said, you want things done your way. If I can't even get on my phone, if I can't even walk out the door, if I can't even peek out the window, how do I get help?
But
and
no,
right now
I mean,
we're in a pandemic, and the numbers have gone tremendously through the roof as far as domestic abuse.
Domestic
No, I
abuse on women
understand
and
what you're
children.
saying. Yeah,
And
I understand what you're
children.
saying. Being, you know what I'm saying, being as the abused as well, because every time I would go and tell my aunt or my grandmother, it was, oh, you're a little boy, it's just toughening you up.
Oh, wait a minute. You told them that you were beating your
No. I'm saying I played both sides of the fence. I've been beat up.
Okay,
I've been
okay,
abused,
okay.
and I've done dish out my own dirt.
Right.
So when you were saying the solution of, being able to, get the strength to speak out and tell somebody, I did. And being as a male, as a man, it was told to me, toughen up. It's just toughening you up. It's just making
went
you
to the
stronger.
wrong- I'm not gonna say your parents are the wrong people, but you know what good advice
I mean,
is. And
I
what,
come from a church background. So I spoke to the deacons, the people at the church. And,
the deacons told you
like I
that?
say, being the only boy and the baby boy of the family, it was always told me, always just toughening you up. But I got broken ribs
wow.
at 7.
Yeah, that's a shame. All right, we're going to take a break. I was going to roll on through, but we got people crying and we may need some tissue. So we're going to take a 1-minute break and be back with domestic violence. Welcome back to Unpacked Radio. I am your host, Norris Pope Johnson. I have with me Loctite. I have with me DC Baddest, and we are talking about domestic violence. A very, very serious conversation, and we had to take a little short break. And this is very serious. You know I joke around a lot on Facebook, but I take these actionable steps very seriously because I think the purpose of this podcast is to hopefully to lead someone to some type of direction where they can get some type of help. Especially, I was an angry young man in my life, and I was able to find some good mentors and led me in the right direction. So hopefully that someone out here is going to listen to this podcast and realize that maybe on both sides of the fence that I need to get some help from somebody. So that's what we're trying to do with this podcast. Now, Locke, the question was thrown to you. You went for help. You told people, I need your services, and they told you, toughen up, you're supposed to take this abuse.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did that make you feel?
Hurt.
And do you think that made you become an abuser?
Hurt is I don't know what.
Because you know the old saying, hurt people hurt people. So
yeah.
You think that your hurt that you took in, like you just now told us off air, you suffered broken ribs.
Yep. At 7.
At 7.
My father was high. He came home, and he just went berserk. And he was throwing things, and I caught one in my rib, and it broke my rib.
Jesus.
And spending time with my father in the summer, it was 50-50. I would go with my grandmother to go to church, and then I'd stay with my father. But trying to build a relationship with my father, I started going to his church. But every time he would get on his bench and stop going, I'd still go to church. So a lot of the deacons and the men in the church and the women, they took me in because they knew my father was a drug addict. So when I went to them to let them know I had just got beat, I had one of the church members was my godmother. She actually took me to the hospital, and we went to the pastor, and we need to have some type of family mediation or whatever through the church to get my father, find wherever my father is, find out what's going on, because I was out of the house for like 3 days, couldn't change clothes. So they was like, we'll take you shopping. You can go to your grandmother's, and you're a young man. This is life. You're going to pray. We're going to pray over you, and just everything's going to be all right. And I couldn't understand that at 7, being in church and seeing so much sin around me and my family, that at 7 I'm supposed to pray to something I haven't quite concept yet. And this is a drug addict. Nobody got me out of that home until my mom actually had to come down and transfer custody over to my grandmother.
So you pretty much, they was telling you that we're going to pray the abuse away.
That was it.
I done heard some strange concepts, but I ain't never heard of pray the abuse away.
You're getting abused as a 7-year-old child.
Yep.
Hey,
and this is
black churches.
Black church, yeah.
No,
this was a black. This was a black church. Yes,
I was born and raised in church. You might as well say that. My black church is definitely not going to stand by and watch, hear, see, or know that I or my children or anyone in our congregation is being abused and we not do something about it.
I got blinded.
My church is definitely not. We're not built like that.
I got blinded. It got blanketed over. I got anything I wanted. Moms was sending stuff from DC down because I was in Virginia.
But it still cost you.
Oh, yeah.
It cost you because you grew up with the anger. You grew up.
About 18 months.
Yeah, that's what it cost you.
It cost me about 18 months.
So you had to serve time for this?
18 months.
Me and my kid's mother had got into a situation, and the police was called, and they caught me right on top of her, strangling her. Jesus. So I got some time for that.
How much time you got? The 18 months for that?
I got the 18 months for that.
So how are you now?
Well, now what I have done, a friend of mine had told me something about a business or company called MBI. And they're in D.C., they are a psychiatry therapist type place where they help people with mental illness. it became real stressful, losing weight, just feeling bad.
Right.
Damn, handsome young man, and I just saw a skeleton in the mirror.
All right, we're going to take another break. I was not intending on taking these breaks. We got people up here crying, so we'll be back in 1 minute.
You okay?
Wow. Welcome back to Unpacked Radio. I'm your host, Norris the Pope Johnson. We have with myself, Mr. Loctite, DC Baddest. And I was telling them off air, I normally don't have human emotions, but this is a very serious issue. We got people we got the engineer back there crying, we got the producer crying, we got people on the side crying. Man, this is serious. But let me tell you guys a little bit of one of my stories. I mean, that way maybe we can lighten up the head. Because I seriously believe that abuse does start at home. As a child, I remember a time where my mother abused me and my sister for losing the house keys. We was playing football outside, and all the girls were playing little cheerleader, and somehow the house keys got lost. And my mama came out there with a metal baton and proceeded to whoop both of our asses with a metal marching band baton.
Jesus.
And my sister, she had somewhere to run to. She had her godfather and godmother to run to. But I ain't had nobody to run to. So literally my mama, after drinking and didn't never calm down from that first ass whooping, proceeded to jump on me while I was asleep and whoop my ass again while I was naked. So I had to leave the house naked and go call the police. And know what they did? They put me right back in the house with my mama. I don't know if that was resolving the issue, but
You was a minor.
I was a minor, and they put me back in the custody of my parent and guardian and never came back to follow up. Now I'm a child in my boxers calling for help, and they take me back to the abuser and never came back to check and see. Let's just go back and investigate to see what the hell going on. Have you guys ever experienced, as you call for help or you try to receive some type of help, they came and they never follow back up? Ladies first.
I don't mean to sound crazy, but are you crazy? Call the police or my mother, my grandmother? What? No, there was none of that.
Nah, it was
if we
none
got
of that.
a spanking, pretty much.
No, I'm not talking about no spanking, my
No, no,
love.
no.
I'm talking
Let me finish.
metal baton ass whooping for losing the keys.
I never got spanked with a metal baton, but I have gotten slapped. I have got beat with the big wooden spoon in the kitchen. I have gotten beat with an extension cord, a brush. That might be it, but I do remember being slapped, and it's called the slap heard around the world. If you ask my family,
I would gladly
it was
took.
terrible. It
I
was one
would
of those.
gladly taken
Hammer
any type
all
of.
the way back.
I would
Holy
gladly
God.
taken all those. I would gladly taken all those. I'm like some assholes I
man.
probably deserve. Like when I broke the shower curtain and she whooped my ass in the shower, I may or may not deserve that ass whooping. But for my sister losing her keys, something that's so simple and basic, I don't think no metal baton ass whooping for both of us was necessary. And then come back that same night and jump on me again and whoop my ass again. I don't think that's necessary, but hey, at the end of the day,
I don't know.
people
man.
wonder why I don't got normal human emotions.
might-
What about you, Locke?
You might have been here before, bro, because that sounds like some white people stuff. We don't call the police on our parents.
I
That's
don't
just-
know anybody.
I done ran away a couple of times.
I ain't had nobody to
with-
run to. I had no father.
Hey,
I had no
man.
godparents. I had nobody but my mama. So, and she was whooping my ass because she couldn't finish whooping my sister's ass.
Nah,
I had to go get some type of
Angry
resource.
too.
hey, like they told me, suck it up. Suck it up,
Just
son.
suck it up and take that ass whooping. But have you ever tried to get any type of resources and they was like, nah, we can't help you?
Nah.
I'm not even talking about as a child. I'm talking about as an adult.
Nope.
As an adult.
The first time I wanted to actually seek out help for myself, I landed myself in a nice spot with some good, cool African dudes that been keeping on task. You know what I'm saying? They call me every day. I see them. I talk to them. I call them when I need to. My psychiatrist gave me a little medication that keeps me calm, keeps me chill, along with my 420 friendly, and it's been great. I've been doing it for probably about I don't want to elaborate, but let's just say 4 months. And in 4 months, I feel as though I've been doing fairly well. Been doing real good. No outbursts, no anger. I let people do them and just stay in my own lane. Learn to know that you can't control nobody but yourself.
So you're telling me pretty much you took the actionable steps necessary to make sure that you don't go back.
Had to.
So are you in a relationship now?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
Has she been informed of your past behaviors?
She's been witness to it.
Okay.
We've been together going on 3 years now.
When you say witness to it, she's felt your wrath.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And she chooses to stay.
And that's what gave me the strength to get the help I needed.
That's what's up.
Breaking the cycle. Not allowing another black woman to allow love or her heart to put her in a situation that she don't need to be in.
Now, my next question is, you both are parents.
Yes.
Both are parents. Got good families. Have you had these type of conversations with your children, and what do you tell them about it?
So, I can speak to them now because they're older. I have 23, 21, 20, 17, and 10. So they're at the age now where you can just be a little more candid with them versus when I was in the process of going through a lot of things. So now I can say, hey, if a guy does this, if a girl does this, this is what you need to do. I can speak to them, and just let them know what's going on. One thing we cannot do as parents, and I did, was don't fake it. Don't hide it. Because eventually they're going to resent you because they're going to call it a lie.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to say, you lied to me. The truth was there, but you told me X, Y, and Z, which was a X, Y, and Z lie. And when it comes back, it hurts so bad because you as a mom, mothers are nurturers. We the first ones that's going to get to the heart. Not to say dads don't, but we enter into our children's heart in different ways. But mom is always just going to be their nurturer. We tend to go to mom first for everything, pretty much, unless is a situation. But what I'm saying is, you take that information from mom first, and you believe everything, and you run with it. So with that being said, I don't want my children to ever say to me again, Mom, why you lied to me? Because I did lie. And it's not anymore do as I say, not as I do. You have to walk the walk and talk the talk. It's no more of those days where I grew up, where my grandmother, my mother, my father, my aunties would say, Lily, do it. Oh, that's my nickname. I'm sorry. Lily, do this. I would have to do it. I don't care if they didn't, they weren't doing it. I know what I could do. I knew my limitations. So my children, I'm definitely upfront with them about everything. I'm talking about sex, drugs, abuse, this political world. They don't even want to participate in, but we need to vote. But we need to inform our children. We need to be more vocal. The TV, the phone, the Instagram, all these websites, the social media has just taken over for us because it's been a babysitter. I can admit, I will give my son, my 10-year-old, just go get your phone because you're tired and you don't have the time, but we definitely need to put the time in. We need to talk more. Make them understand how important it is. Just like you tell them, graduate from college, speak it into existence. And I always say this. Had my family, my parents, my grandmother always say it to me, you gonna graduate from college, go be a lawyer, go be a doctor, go do something with your life. Instead of you gonna graduate from college and you gonna find yourself a good man and get the church home, and guess what? That's exactly what I did. So we speak it into our children. So what I'm saying to you is speak the truth. Let them know what's going on. Stop the faking, because if you don't tell them, they're gonna learn it from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to learn it from somewhere else, and we don't want them to learn the wrong way. We did it the wrong way. We want them to be better. We want them to live better.
Mr. Locke,
well,
what do you tell your children?
Fortunately for me, when I was wilding out like that, my kids were too young. They were infants. They was babies, and now they ghetto as hell. So I haven't had the liberty of having that conversation yet. They don't know the abusive father. They don't know that about me. So I haven't had to have that conversation. And as ghetto as my girls are, I'm quite sure they probably won't go through domestic violence. I got big babies. I got big girls. So, and my little one, she's just as big as the big girl. So, I don't think I'll have that problem with my kids. If they're seeing it on the mom's side, it hasn't been brought to me to have that conversation, but they definitely haven't seen it from my side. So, I haven't gotten there yet. Thank God.
I have a question for you. Being as though, how many girls do you have?
I have 3.
3 girls. Being as though you do have girls, I have 3 girls as well. Being as though you do have girls, you don't think that it's time for you to have a conversation with them alone about that, just because?
To just voluntarily tell them about?
No. I'm not saying voluntarily tell them about you, but they are girls. Are they dating? They of the dating age?
One of them,
because it can start early. It's elementary school.
they so tomboyish.
It does. That doesn't mean anything. This is what I want you to tap into. Listen to what I'm saying. You have to get into their mental. You got to know that that they are not going to tolerate that. Just because they some big girls don't mean that they're not going to let this dude that they fell in love with put his hands on her or disrespect her. Trust me. Love, they think, but it's love. I'm telling you, I was tainted by that because that's what I thought love was. And I was a big girl too. So it has nothing to do with their size. It has everything to do with your knowledge. You have to you should be on top of that.
Well,
I'm going to hold you accountable for that.
Definitely take heed to that.
I'm going to hold you accountable for that. I will definitely check in with you because this is our future. We don't want to read about another situation. We don't want to hashtag nobody else's name.
I mean, you're right.
You're
right, and you're right in everything you're saying. I'm just one of those parents that topics.
You just gonna wait for it to come up?
Yeah,
it's already gonna be too late. It's gonna be too late.
With my girls, I've had the conversation with my boys.
Okay.
Because I had my boy is 21.
So you had that conversation.
So yeah, I've had the conversation with him.
Oh, okay.
Because he's had a little verbal storm out and had to end up sleeping on my couch. So yeah, okay. I've had the conversation with my boys, but like I say, my girls is a totally different situation. It's like they should have been the boys and my boys should have been the girls.
I mean, that could very well be true, but all I'm telling you is just make sure.
My girls are savages.
Okay. Well, savages have soft spots as well. For thugs, for men, for love, for affection.
I would definitely do some homework.
Any way they can get it, they will, and they will accept it just like that. I'm trying to tell you what I know.
Yes,
so all I'm telling you is get on top of that. Speak to them collectively if it feels better for you, or individually. I spend time with my children individually. When they were growing up, once a month we all had a day. I didn't care if you had school. We had once because there's so many of them. You can't do it all at one time sometimes because you can't see everything. Sometimes you have to be with them one-on-one to see certain things. I sit back and I observe collectively, and then individually, we have our time. You always need your special time with your mom or your dad. I don't care how many children you have, that is a must. Yeah. You got to make time for your children.
I'm skittish with my daughters.
You're what?
I'm skittish with my daughters. When she came on her period, I wrapped her in a sheet and took her to the emergency room.
Whoa.
Oh, wow. You one of those dads.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe we can build up to that conversation. You're not ready yet, but we're going to keep you accountable to get ready.
But you don't want to find out, when you have your conversation that your daughter has been beat or punched or kicked or beat down or knocked down or punched in the stomach or kicked out of a car on the side of the highway.
I know the help is out there for the man.
Exactly. You don't want to know that.
You just got to own it.
All
the
right,
help is out
there. I'm going to hold you accountable for that one.
It sounds like Miss Alicia said she's going to be your new accountability officer.
It's all
that's what she said. That's what it sounds like to me.
Right. Send the links in. Send the links.
We gonna put everybody information out there. In closing, because I think I got like 10 minutes left. We got about 10 minutes left. In closing, just to wrap it up, what do you think we can do to avoid hopefully possible domestic violence, or Is it just an ego thing? Is it an anger thing? Or is it just we having a heated debate and it just goes too far? What do you think, we can do to hopefully avoid domestic violence within our own households?
Me personally, I believe that outside influences such as drugs, alcohol, anything of those natures, if it's in your household, you are bound to step or cross that line. That's at any time. And that's your company. You might invite somebody over and they might not, they go past their limitations. Things just happen. However, you as an individual have to know what your limitations are, what you can tolerate, learn how to walk away, and control yourself. You can only control yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You can only control yourself. But if you see a situation getting out of hand, me personally, I don't jump in anything anymore. And we just had a young man lose his life. I forget what state it was in, but a young man just lost his life trying to save another man from beating his woman, and he was killed. That used to be my fear every day, because I used to work at Tyler House, and we used to have a situation every day. Well, not every day, but every month. This was the game that some women like to play, and I'm going to call it what it is, a game. The drug guys could not financially, paperwork-wise, could not be on that apartment. So when the drug money would dry up, they would like to play the game of having a bar notice put on them to get them up out of there temporarily till the drug money came back, and we would have to go enforce those bar notices. And we had no other choice but to move them up out of there by any means necessary. Wow.
And it's been times that I went to force a bar notice, and the young lady has jumped on my back and tried to stop me from enforcing that bar notice. So that is my fear. When I was out here in the community, just as an officer standpoint of somebody jumping on your back, taking your gun, and shooting you because they don't want you taking their boyfriend away.
Wow.
So that used to be my everyday nightmare. But in closing, Locke.
He probably served me though in the bar though.
Nah, I don't think unless you lived in Tyler House or was the other one? What's the one right across from Tyler House? I think it's like Surgeon Quarters and Templey Courts.
Yeah.
So that's where I used to work at, and both of them were very interesting places.
Wow.
Mr. Locke, what do you have to say in closing of a way that maybe as men, that we can learn how to walk away from just the heated debates, or we just need to learn how to stop living with our egos?
As a man, put your anger and your ego aside. Humble yourself, and always, first and foremost, think before you act, because it will definitely affect the rest of your life.
I would agree with that, because it's been numerous of times I made some bad decisions. I'm not even going to call them mistakes. I'm going to call them bad decisions that could have led me to jail. So I'm going to take a little short break, and we're going to come back in 1 minute. All right. This is the closeout. And I got to think of Welcome back to Unpacked Radio. I'm your host, Norris the Pope Johnson, and we are talking about domestic violence. I have with me Loctite, have DC Baddest, and this is the wrap up. And normally we would do a man law, but we're not even going to do that today. We're just going to close it out with some words of encouragement, hopefully. What would you like to say in a few minutes or less?
I would just like to say to my sister who is out there and you are in a situation, go get help. There is help. It's not too late. Don't be embarrassed, and it's okay. And you are not alone. There's always a situation that can be taken care of without you hurting yourself or him or her or whoever your abuser is. Just get help. Let's put an end to this today. Let's stop. Therapy, get it. Help, get it. Talk to somebody. Tell somebody.
All right. And close out, we do have the information available for all to see who's currently looking at this show. And close out, I would like to say, we all have our egos and we all have our pride. But it's one thing we all need to learn how to do as human beings, and that's walk away from bad situations. And we all need to learn how to live life with love. I think that's the best thing to do is just live your life with love and respect each other how you will want to be respected, and learn truly how to communicate with your spouse, with your children in a proper manner where at the end of the day you don't have to put your hands on them, because that can be a very emotionally scarring. I don't care what nobody say. I mean, I still have troubles to this day because of some of the stuff I've been through as a child. I'm pretty sure you have troubles with relationships. I'm pretty sure you still have troubles. So we all here are broken people because somebody else broke us. Now we got to find a way to fix the issue. And hopefully we have presented some solutions and we presented some evidence that hopefully the next person will be man or woman enough to walk away from that bad situation. Mr. Locke got something to say, and then we're going to wrap it up.
Find me on Facebook. Hit me in my inbox at Loctite. Find me on IG, Loctite1738. Let's take this one day at a time. You can call me. I'll give you my number. You can reach out to me, send me a message. I'll walk this walk with you because I'm currently walking the walk now, one day at a time. So if you need somebody to talk to that is walking in your footsteps, hit me up. Loctite on Facebook, IG Loctite1738. We can do it together.
You want to give your information out so they can
Sure,
reach you?
I would love to. Got a little emotional. Like I said, my mom was taken away from us in 1998. So I know a lot about it, and I've been through it because I had to witness it. So if you need help, and if you are serious, I am DC's baddest, DCS BADDEST, on IG and on Facebook. I am Alicia, ALICIA Co. Either one, find me on it, inbox me, DM me. I will talk to you. I will walk with you. I will get you help. If that's what you really need, please, let's stop. Let's break the cycle. Let's break the cycle. This can be done. One situation, one person, one heart, one fist at a time. Put them down. It's time to love. It's time to love. It's time for peace.
Thank you both for sharing your stories. I greatly appreciate it, and I think that we got a lot accomplished tonight. And it got a little debative, but I'm glad that we were able to come to some solutions, and we were able to use our ears to listen to each other's point of view. Next week, I'll be talking to Mr. Kevin from Pure Bill Fit, my favorite fitness group in the whole wide world. It got my arms looking tight, so we definitely going to be talking to that good brother. He's going to become going back. So we'll see you next week. Salute.